With gratitude to our Lord and Savior, and in the name of the merciful and benevolent one, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Esau, and Ira. Welcome to the 2019 Trick Year in Review. Sitting here with the coach, we will dissect everything that's happened to him this year and just speak off the cusp about generally what's been going on. Trick, welcome.
Thank you. Before we get to anything, I just want to wish you, we're not allowed to talk a couple of things about the new baby girl. So mazel tov on that. I know we're not allowed to bring that up. People keep on asking me questions about you. The first question is, what do you do for a living?
What do I do for a living? I'm in wholesale health and beauty products. So I deal with all kinds of closeouts, deals that I purchase and sell to different wholesalers or different retailers. Some retailers, some items are like lip balms, some closeout items like over-the-counter products. Some.
Well, people want to know how you afford that fancy condo in the city, the Lexus.
There's no Lexus. There's an Infiniti that I pay $350 and 0.9 cents for every month.
Did you pay that up front?
No, $350.09 is what I pay for the car, and the apartment is about $3,000 rent, which my wife works as well. So, I mean, we're dual income. We're a dual income. We're a dual income family.
Please,
so that's how we get by and make ends meet.
Try not to keep this stuff personal.
Anything else about the job? Any other products you want to sell that I sell?
No, everybody
shampoos,
know.
conditioners. Sometimes, I mean, some products are here, even here at your
Well, we
at
can't
your
move the
thing
camera,
there.
unfortunately.
You're not going to move the camera, but some macadamia professional shampoos, some HAS dry shampoos, which I didn't buy at a good deal. There'll be some Burt's Bees items. There'll be
Well, another question they ask: who is this Horowitz guy? Why is he always there? 11 o'clock, 11:30. But why is he always there? Who is he?
Horowitz is a guy, a gentleman, who is a Levi. Comes from the descendants of the Shlah. The Shlah HaKadosh, the Holy Shlah. Shtei Luchot HaBrit, they used to call them. He's a Levi, and he's one of the descendants. His wife's grandfather was one of the giants of the Torah scholars. He's a gentleman that we conduct business with. We work together. He's a very, very, very nice guy. He loves sardines. He's a great throat clearer. Yes, he's a great throat clearer. What else could we know about Horowitz? He's
How'd you get involved with him? How did you create him?
created Horowitz.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Horowitz is, I think, 56 or 57 years old. So he's about 10 or 11 years older than me. So how did I create Horowitz? I don't know if I created Horowitz. He's just a guy that we do business together with. It's as simple as that. Create him as far as, I don't know. Give me ways, and I'll explain to you.
All of a sudden, I used to go to Big Jelly, located in
So we
McDonald
work
Avenue.
together.
He showed up out of nowhere.
We work together.
All right, another question.
Any
People ask,
question?
Another question. How come you stopped announcing the games? The kids, everybody wants to know, why isn't Big Jelly TV announcing the games anymore?
Well, I mean, there's two reasons for that. Big Jelly TV cannot announce the games because the Big Jelly TV is not a. There's some parental guidelines to the Big Jelly channel. As you know, Big Jelly covers events all across the United
Well,
States.
you could use my
yeah,
YouTube.
Of course.
By the way, please.
I figured you wanted to know why Big Jelly didn't want to.
Before you go, just please hit the subscribe button. I think it's right over there or right over here. We need
Okay,
subscribers,
hit
yes.
the subscribe button so Danny Miz could broadcast live.
Mizrahi,
Danny
M-I-Z-R-A-H-I.
DANNY MIZRAHI.
Well, if they're watching now, obviously they'd be
Yes.
watching on that channel. So
Yes, but
hopefully just subscribe to
tell
it.
your friends, tell your family members if you really enjoy watching really, really bad basketball.
That's not
And I mean horrible basketball amongst the worst in the country. Definitely subscribe, but it's entertaining. It's not about the.
So get
the
back
game.
to you. Why you stop announcing?
Announcing. I mean, I'm off the air because regretfully I said some. I'm trying to think of the proper word to say. I mean, regretfully I made some comments that I probably shouldn't have. I offended a lot of people. I've hurt a lot of feelings, and it's just not something that.
But the video that you announced got over 2,000. I think it's up to 2,200 views.
Well,
people are asking, please come back. How can we get you? What can we do to get you back?
Well,
the athletic director's even asking. Where's Big Jelly?
First, I mean, the athletic director have questions for
YD, by the way,
yes.
athletic director of YDE.
Yes, the athletic director who
does a fantastic job.
Who was not at the game. He was on a fact-finding mission studying cacti in Arizona at the time. You know, he is a botanist. He studies flowers, cacti. So he was on a fact-finding mission at the time there. But you had 2,000 views because the other
No,
one second.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying people. I'm not giving you credit. I'm just saying over 2,000 people listened to you, and the amount of response, the positive response I got.
Oh, there was a lot of
that's why.
negative response also.
No,
I mean,
maybe
there,
one.
there was a lot of negative response.
No,
And like
no, I
said,
disagree. I disagree.
I mean,
Only one negative. 999 were positive, and one was negative.
well, perhaps we'll make a comeback at the playoffs, and we'll see.
Ooh, okay, excellent.
I mean, it all depends up to the school, and
Nope, you got permission.
Okay,
The
thank you.
athletic director said you're good.
Thank you. Any other topics of conversation from me,
No,
Coach?
you had a guideline, so I'm not allowed to ask.
I don't have any guidelines.
Yes, you did.
You asked
said
me.
I'm not allowed to ask about certain
No,
things.
you congratulated me about the kid.
Baby Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Rebecca Rena.
Rebecca Rena. She happens to be a very, very nice
You have a
kid.
picture? No, the kid. Let's see.
No, I'm not gonna show any pictures
okay.
because I'm not one of those people that puts my kids on Facebook and stuff like that. Every parent thinks their kids are the cutest kids. Every parent thinks their kids are the. As you know, you're a coach, and I mean, you have 14 or 15 players on your team. And every one of them is a superstar. Every one of them is a superstar according to their parents, but not everybody could play.
Well, we're down to 15 now because 2 guys walked off the bench. So.
Which is reprehensible and disgraceful
It's okay.
because, to walk off the bench, I mean, will they be allowed back?
No.
Will they be allowed to try out for varsity next year?
You have to speak to the.
Because then
they're probably going to be. I don't know. You broke the news last time. I don't know.
I'm not breaking any news. I'm just saying.
You said Coach Dweck was
I didn't mention
retiring and nobody knew about it. So I knew that caused a controversy with that. That was one of your first controversies.
That's not true.
No, where you
I outed Coach Dweck that he was retiring.
Yes.
That's
what I heard.
The whole school knew, and everybody knew. It wasn't me. Like if it was made for publication to me, then obviously the whole school knew, and everybody else knew.
I'm just going.
But Coach Dweck, thankfully, is back on the bench at YDE
and doing a fantastic
job. What is his record now?
5-5, I think.
5-5, which is very, very respectful.
5-6.
I mean, they just got beat bad by Haftar, but Haftar is a really good team. Mishaniye
from SY Cuisine.
Yes.
Well, I know you sponsor a lot, but sometimes it's not parking there, and you have to find another place to shop.
It depends. You could always walk there. Mishaniye is they do have great food over there. Authentic Halabi food, not to be confused with authentic Shami
it's not
food.
A Shami, right?
Yes. Okay. All right. So I mean, last year for you, Coach, was a year of highs, a year of lows. Regretfully, your father passed, and
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. He was a really, really good man.
Treated you like a son.
I mean, he was great to me. He was great to me, and I have nothing but positive things to say about Billy. You okay, man? I mean, and regretfully.
By the way, thank you, and that Horowitz guy that you created. He came to the house, took the furniture out.
That wasn't me, man.
Well, that's right. But you
Horowitz had all those ideas, According to CM, I was just a guy at the gym who, likes to talk about the machines instead of exercising them. But I mean, it was tragic. I mean, he was great. I mean, it's just, I understand it's difficult, and
tragic because you worrying about traveling from Brooklyn to the city every night trying to look for parking. That's tragic.
Well, I do that. I mean, I find parking. I mean, again, the highs obviously being your first championship in over 20 years. And for you guys to make that run, that magical run in the playoffs was just remarkable. With a thrilling overtime win at Flatbush. At Flatbush, where pretty much nobody.
Was overtime Flatbush?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I know the other school was.
No, it was overtime. That second, the semifinal.
Flatbush, I think, was overtime also.
I'm not sure. Maybe
it could be.
I don't know.
I mean, it was a thrilling victory.
You worked that game? You weren't?
Yeah, I worked that game.
Oh, you did, right?
It was a thrilling victory. I mean, you were about 11 and a half points underdog. Nobody really gave you a chance. You're playing at the Flatbush Gymnasium, and you just hung in there. And
it's just the advice that is going on. You were standing right next to me, and you give me some good advice on what.
I don't know. For any advice, you could probably watch a tape. I don't offer any advice to any coaches or anything like that. I'm not a coach myself. I don't coach, so me offering advice is probably like null and void. Well, I mean, the thrilling victory at Flatbush, where nobody gave you a chance.
That's in the past now. Who cares, right?
But it's not in the past. I mean, it's something to build on. and then coming back and beating beating was it Rambam? What's the name of the school?
Halb.
Halb, formerly of like DRS or whatever it is. The Halb, and their star player, and again down
Who's doing excellent this year, by the way.
Down 10-0 right off the bat that game, man.
Yeah,
10-0 right off the bat. You know, and it was like poised to be like a 30-point blowout. It just seemed that way, and you guys hung in there. You know, and then the Chamois Assassin, you know, tying the game with like 2 seconds left.
Freddie Sweat.
Freddie Sweat, sorry.
Yes.
And tying the game with a big free throw. And then, you know, just gutting it out in overtime after the main guy fouled that. And, of course, beating Magen David, who's like, consider like, you know, like the...
They're the New England Patriots of the Yeshiva League.
I would kind of compare them more to like...
the Boston Celtics.
You know how I would kind of compare them more to like... the Tobacco Road scene in North Carolina, like Flatbush was always like North Carolina.
So Coach Spike is Coach K.
I wouldn't say, no.
Be careful.
I mean, I'm not. I'm comparing schools. I'm not comparing coaches.
So but you can compare.
Because Magen David wasn't good for a while, as was Duke back in like the early '80s until they
recruited.
Until they recruited.
Be
correct.
Careful with that. Also, I don't think they do that.
Well, no, they had a great recruiting class, but I'm just saying until they picked up.
You're actually saying they go recruit kids? I don't think so.
Who, Magen David?
Yeah.
I never said that. I'm talking about Duke now.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
And then Sade was like the North Carolina State at the time. You know, with Coach Sandusky, like, you know, most favorably comparing to Les Robinson.
Why is that?
Oh, he had the nice sweater vest also. For those of you who don't know who Les Robinson was, they used to be called the Les Robinson Classic, they used to say, before the ACC tournament. So I think it was like the 8-9 game, and NC State constantly played it. And Sade was like the doorman of the 3 schools. And YDE came in. It's kind of like YDE being like Wake Forest, but not really getting any respect in that realm there because you have 4 or 5 schools in the same region. So Magen David turned out to be like Duke. And, I mean, you don't have to say anything about Duke that, you know, pretty much the whole NCAA hates Duke.
Except Coach Helwani.
Yes. Coach Helwani, you know, and Duke is, you know, known for their elitism, known for their winning at all the time, known for getting the best players, and known for like, you know, just kind of like thumbing your nose in it. It's kind of like reminds me of the story of Kentucky and Duke. And, of course, H.L. Katz, the famous author, would remember this.
Is he related to the Katz on YU?
Yes, I think he's a father.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the Katz that coaches Ramaz.
And the Cats in the Cradle also. Yes, he is related to their son. We'll talk about that also, how he's going to revolutionize yeshiva basketball. Incidentally, did you play for Flatbush, Coach?
I got cut 3 years in a row by Coach Gelber, who we play a triple header on Sunday.
3 years in a row you got cut.
I was in a heavy
Man.
I would have failed off anyway, but, you know.
Wait, so you were a junior trying out for JV and you got cut?
Back then, yes, you were allowed to try out as a junior.
Wow.
Yeah, Spitz made it over.
Squitz.
Oh, Squitz?
Yes.
Oh,
Squitz and Nimrod. Dr. Nimrod.
Yes.
Good ball player. Good low post player.
Yes, David Hazen also.
Good moves. Good shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is that a sore point for you that you were never able to play on the team?
Still bothers me every day.
Do you take it out on the kids now, that because you were cut, so you cut certain kids?
Well, listen, if I was playing these days, I have my microphone. If I was playing these days, the offense is just 3-point shot. Shoot. I was watching.
Well, you were noted for being a 3-point shooter back then.
Thank you.
You know, kind of ahead of your time.
Thank you.
You know, you were fired before it was like, you know, popular for so many people to shoot threes.
I was scared to play with some people. I was afraid to shoot.
Oh, yeah, that's when you're playing with Truck in the Corporate Challenge. You were pretty dopey there. And trivia timeout for the moment. Who was the first NBA player to make a 3-pointer?
What's his name? The coach.
Correct?
Yeah, Chris Ford.
Chris Ford, that's right.
Thank you. 1979.
1979 is correct.
I actually mentioned the other night on the Nick Game Wolf.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually mentioned it. Because talking about every shot is 3 when they were playing the Nets. 3.
The first 4-point play in NBA history?
No, Larry Bird.
No.
Trent Tucker.
No. I think it was the guy from Herbs on Hoops. Was that in the NCAAs? Or I think in the Herbs on Hoops. There's a guy that played, I think he had the first 4-point play. I don't remember it. But we have to look it up. One of Coach Katz's guys that he would know. What's the state of the league now, the Yeshiva League, Coach?
Pretty good.
You playing man? You playing zone? You're
We're playing yeshiva ball.
yeshiva ball
Actually, we did play man the
Is
other night. We played man the whole game the other night.
against Hafter.
Yeah.
Tip,
All game,
so,
all game.
what made you switch? I mean, you're constantly against
I'll
zone.
tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because when we play zone, there's not that much foul trouble. There's not that much. What are you going to sub? There's not that much substitution. Say, let me play man-to-man defense, get them a little bit tired. Maybe be more aggressive.
But was that more conducive to your game strategy against the team that you're playing against?
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, so you played man. I mean, but you've been playing a lot of zone. I mean, ever
Yes.
since HL Katz left the center, I mean, he guided you in just specifically playing man. I mean, saying the zone.
I mean, the problem, the reason it goes zone more is because there's no practice time. Whose ever fault that is, it's just not enough.
yeah, that's
practice
another
time.
sore point I wanted to ask you about. How often do you guys practice? How often does YDEJV practice?
For the past month, we practiced like 5 hours.
5 hours a month.
Well, no, not a month. This month would happen to be 5 hours.
5 hours, and your practices are an hour and 15 minutes.
The most hour and 30, but usually an hour and 15.
I mean, what do you
From
get?
start to finish, that means walking in the
So
gym.
what do you get
Because
done?
there's hockey and all
What do you get done in practice? What, you focus on one thing. You
That's the
focus on
problem.
4 things.
If anybody has
in
advice,
7 minutes.
That's the problem. That's what I'm
All right.
struggling with.
Anybody listen out there? If you have advice for YDE practices, an hour and 15 minutes. Do you focus on one thing? Do you focus on 2 things? Do you focus on 10 little things there?
I'm used to 2-hour practices at least. You back in the day, used to be 3-hour practices. We just come out to 2.5. So
Have you addressed this with the athletic director?
there's nothing to address.
What do you mean nothing to address?
He does a great job.
I'm sure
the
he
gym
does,
is-
but I mean,
the gym is limited.
but can't you get another gym? Can't you?
You have to speak to 917. I don't want to say it.
that
Everybody does have the phone
that's
number
okay.
anyway.
So right now your team is what, 5-3?
5 and 4.
5 and 4.
And we technically clinched the playoff spot.
One game. Congratulations.
Thank you,
One
thank
game left. Who are you playing? Who's that matched up against?
North Shore in another month. Exactly a month.
Wow,
So
North
I don't know
Shore.
if we're practicing for another month.
So you have North Shore in another month,
And we probably play them in the first round also. It's going to be decided where it's at North Shore or at the center.
okay. So you have any scouting report on North Shore? Do you know anything about
Yeah,
them?
we played them. We lost to them.
Oh, you lost to them
After a
initially.
2-hour bus ride getting there. Hour
Okay.
45.
Well, I mean, you could always use the excuse of 2010
Yes.
or 2015,
Yes, well, listen.
which is, of course, if anybody knows that, that's why the great Talmudic Academy with the great number 36, Tamir Goodman, lost to a Yeshiva League team, was it?
Wait, a Division One with a Division One
With a
player
with
and
a
a
Division-
Division 3 coach. They lost. I don't believe
Division One
I
player.
don't
They
believe that.
lost. They were upset. Rabbi Beidler from Hafter.
I don't believe that.
Well, it happened. I mean, you could look it up in the
All right,
record
I'll
books in
have
the
to look it
YU
up after we're
tournament.
done.
According to the coach, it was like something, a game that didn't really matter. But
Don't
that
all games matter?
I don't know. All lives matter, all games matter. My point is now, so how do you see this team gelling coming together now? Will there be another magical run of the playoffs, you think?
Possibly. I mean, the other side is very hard. Jersey side.
The Jersey
Yeah,
side.
they're better than this side.
But you'll be matched up with anybody. You'll be matched up from
No,
both
first
sides.
round you play this side, then the next round you get to you play the Jersey side. So you have to be lucky.
Well, and anything can happen also.
Exactly.
Anything like last year. I mean, you're underdog in all 3 games.
We're just happy to make the playoffs.
You're happy to be there. Happy to be at the
That's
big
it.
dance.
That's all. That's an accomplishment.
That's great.
If we had
I mean, anything. So your season, you're heading to the playoffs. You're excited about that. Any advice to the players on what should they be working on over the
half
winter
the team.
break?
We're working on the winter break. Doing well in school. That's the most important thing.
Free throws,
No, doing well in school. Who cares? I mean, it's just
working on their game. I mean, I watched some of your clips from the last game against Hafter. You guys were up one with about 13 seconds, was it? Or
No,
11
it was up one like a minute 10 left.
Okay, clock management. Do the kids not know that clock management is important and not to fire up like a challenged 3-point shot?
He did apologize.
I mean, not questioning about apologizing. I mean, like, why do you think the hero ball concept is so big and these kids revel in hero ball so much instead of team ball and smart ball?
I mean, we've been trying to get you come down to to practice to talk to the guys, but you've been too busy with your other job, as you call it. So they need to hear a different voice sometimes.
Coach, in my defense, you have an hour and 15 minutes.
I would I would give you the hour and 14 minutes to talk to the guys.
For me to speak would be redundant and boring.
Nope, I remember you spoke to them last year in the playoff run.
I did?
I think you did. Yeah, you came to practice.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
You gave some very inspirational words.
I don't offer constructive criticism. I mean, I offer
You
constructive
do.
criticism.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm not allowed to.
Oh, you have
Yeah.
to be. You have to kind of like kowtow to the kids and be, you know, just give them positive reinforcement instead of telling them what they did wrong.
I mean, yeah. I mean, starting coming up now, so they get used to me. Like the 9th graders, 8th graders. It's a little bit different than guys that haven't been with me for a few
Will
years. So-
Coach Mizrahi be back at YD next year?
Oh, that you have to ask the athletic director.
So it's all up to the athletic director.
I take it year by
Will the
year.
athletic director serve as head coach next year?
Again, 917.
I'm just asking a question now.
That's a good question.
You know, I mean, people are making jokes that, you know, like the athletic director was looking for a new coach, like OJ was looking for the killer.
Wasn't that you that made that joke?
Oh, it was. I mean, it just, will he be back? Like, it's just a lot of unknowns for YD.
Well, next year's going to be a rebuilding year for varsity. It's gonna
A
be
rebuilding year.
very, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very tough year. A lot of guys didn't bother trying out. A lot of juniors, the big guys, 3 big guys, didn't want to play for the team this year.
Any reason?
Nope, not that I know of. Three of the big guys, and that's one of the things they're struggling in.
You know, HL Katz was, just to let you know, he was one of the great ones. This guy broke bread with, like, legends. He's
Bobby Knight,
Bobby Knight.
allegedly, or
No, he sat on the table. Bobby Knight, Pete Newell. I mean, he broke bread, perhaps too much bread for the big guy. But, I mean, he was just like, that's like, you know, for like a rabbinical student sitting down with like, I don't know, Rabbi Hananya ben Akashya and I don't know who else, who's the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, sitting at their feet and studying their Torah. So, I mean, this is a big deal, according to H.L. Katz. Now, H.L. Katz also said that, you know, his son now is coaching a Ramaz.
right.
The Revolutionary, the Paul Revere of the Yeshiva League. How's that working out for him? I mean, exclusively man.
It's early. It's early.
You know, do you agree
They're
with
4-4.
Do you agree with his philosophy that you just have to play exclusively man?
I never disagree with Coach Katz. I'm not like you.
Oh, okay.
I believe in wearing the kippah. Like
It's
you
not
know,
necessary. The kippah is not necessary.
Coach Steinmetz had a great post about that.
What, the yarmulke?
Yes.
Listen, I mean, it's you know, you wear a yarmulke, you don't wear a yarmulke. There's, do you agree with the separation of church and state?
No.
So you think that so if
Just
you
like in the private
hold on,
school.
talk-
One second, I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
Like in the private school, one of these African American kids had this braids in his hair, whatever, and the school forced him to cut it. And the
Yeah, but
parent
that's
thought,
not-
how could you-
that's not
how could
religion.
you-
That's
how-
not a religion thing.
Listen, it's a private school. You have to do. You don't like it, go to a public school. Same thing here. It's part of being on the team. You don't like it.
Oh, if that's a school rule, sure, that's fine.
All right.
But I'm saying in general, all I'm saying
Especially
is
in these times and days with all this, you should be more proud to show
it has
everybody
nothing to
that
do
you're
about
a
being.
Jew.
It has nothing to do
Show
with being
them.
proud. Of
What are you
course,
afraid of?
Nothing, not afraid of. But I'm just saying.
I know your father was on the front lines in the.
He was not on the
in
front
in
lines.
the '73 war.
No,
Yom
he was not
Kippur
on the
War?
front line. My point again.
Was it the Yom Kippur War?
No.
6-Day War.
Listen, he wasn't on the front. Let me ask. Let me just make my point to mention the separation of church and state possible. Are you a basketball player or you're a Jewish basketball player?
You're a Jewish basketball player.
Okay, that's it. If you're a Jewish basketball player, wear your yarmulke. That's fine. It's different. But I think, like, you know, basketball doesn't know any religion, creeds, anything like that. Look at Eric Liddell. Chariots of Fire. He refused to run.
Never saw it.
You never saw Chariots of Fire? He refused to run on the Lord's Day. He refused to run on a Sunday. And he
Just
was
like-
like number
just
one
like
in the
just-
200 or the 400, whatever it is. He cost himself a gold medal.
Just like YU would not play on Shabbos.
They
if
wouldn't.
make it right, but you disagree with that.
No,
as
I
long
didn't-
As you walk, as long as you walk there or whatever.
Hold on,
you
hold
try to
on, hold on,
rationalize
hold
it.
on.
I think that's
you
what
see,
you said.
this is where you're purveying fake news. And you're saying this. I asked Coach Katz the question. I said, if YU had to play on Shabbos, would they play on Shabbos? And he said no. They said they would make accommodations. And he gave a good example that the NCAA makes accommodations in BYU where they're not allowed to play, I think, after midnight on a Saturday night.
Right.
Something like that. I'm not exactly sure, so don't quote me on that. So he said they would make accommodations for them. Now, just to let you know, my niece competes on Shabbos, but she walks. She went up to all these meets. She's a gymnast, and she walked up, and she goes to Ithaca, and her mother goes with her, and they don't take pictures, and they walked. She walked 2-3 miles to her venue, and she didn't violate Shabbos. So is she wrong for competing?
I have to ask Coach Katz about that.
All right, I'm just telling you, she does that. She loves gymnastics. She doesn't want to miss the meet, but she doesn't violate Shabbos.
Depends your definition of violation.
Well, I mean, according to the ultra-Orthodox that are Hasidim, you're violating Shabbos all the time. Even a guy like Coach Katz would.
What? Oh, stop that.
Yeah, I mean, according to them. You
Even
know,
though he
so-
has Mizonos for Sudas Yeshiv, but
perhaps a little too much Mizonos
no,
for the
no,
big
just
guy.
a donut. Just
No.
a donut.
He's a good man, Coach Katz. You know, and the authority of kosher Jewish basketball. For somebody to sit here listening to me and you talking, it's like
Oh, must be do with the talking.
yes, I know because you're not talking back. It's a snooze fest, man. You know.
The other one, your other special that you got, the year-end review, 265.
That was yeah. I mean, that was talking about your championship run, man, which focused on your season specifically. You know, we wish you a lot of success.
Thank you. Hopefully you come back to announce the games again.
A lot of nachas. A year.
Next Wednesday is Shadei Torah versus YDE at the center.
Okay.
Everybody's asking, "Oh, is he going to announce the game? Is he going to announce the game?" And no, I'm busy. I'm busy with the whatever.
With the second job, Szymon Persky. The late Shimon Peres used to say, none of us are really big fans of Shimon Peres. I mean, I think it was a great president. Remember, president. Not prime minister, not defense minister. I'm saying as a president because he represented Israel well as a president. So don't take my words out of context and don't start telling cats, oh, you said Shimon Peres was a good prime minister, because we never liked him as a prime minister or a defense minister.
Just like you said,
or a foreign minister.
You did say give back land to in
Never,
Gaza? You
never said it. I was
But
just
why?
I was expressing
small
the other
amount
people.
of soldiers.
This is
God
what
and a few Jews.
this
Why
is-
are we even there anymore?
you see. This is where you turn and twist things around. I
You
said
didn't say that.
I did not. I said this is
didn't
the
say that in 2005?
I did not say that. I was against the disengagement. This is not. This is what I said. This is the left's argument for the disengagement. This is why they were so pro disengagement. This is what the left said. Meretz, labor, people like that. This is what they said. It would make Israel stronger. We're wasting too much resources guarding all this.
I thought those words came out of him.
It came out of my mouth quoting them. So maybe perhaps I didn't say quote unquote them, but this is what they say. I just want to remind our viewers again, this broadcast has been brought to you by Auric Vacuums, 1844 Coney Island Avenue for all your vacuuming needs. This broadcast is also brought to you by Tomar's Gourmet. We're talking about gourmet, as H-Miss says. Great food, great delivery.
Soup, I had a soup yesterday.
Great service.
I had it for breakfast this morning.
I hope you're not over 162.
That's what I'm having. I'm 161.2 today, so that's what I'm going to have. I'm not going to give my slice for having in the refrigerator.
Okay.
She gave me two.
H-Miz, he's not going to give it up for the slice, but 161.2. Great food, great service. SY Cuisine, of course, a crowd favorite down on Kings Highway.
Any other cuisines or that you support? Or?
I support all the I support all local businesses, all local stores. And just to remind our viewers again, 2020, no more resolutions, only solutions. Thank you, guys, and God bless everybody here. Shkoyach.
Thank you again.